Good morning. Please rise in body or voice and join in thanksgiving, singing hymn 1010, "O We Give Thanks."
We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarianism and Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, we care for the church and each other.
Greetings, all. Tall and short, fat and thin, whatever else that we may differ, we are a church of large variety, or is that the right word, large? Great variety, many philosophies, many thoughts, and all are welcome as long as we respect each other, period. So welcome to St. John's on this day after Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a nice gathering with family and friends and didn't eat too much turkey or too much pie. Anyhow, our minister, the Reverend Mitra Jafarzit, is on sabbatical. The Reverend Alice Diebel is the sabbatical minister in her absence and is in the pulpit today. In your order of service, you will find a strip of paper. There are 2 sentence stems. You have only one of these 2 sentences to complete. The stems are either, "This year has been hard because ... fill in the blank, or "Still, I'm grateful for ... fill in the blank." Please write something short on the paper, and we will collect them during the stones for joy and concerns, or shortly after for the time of all ages. No need to put your name on them, but we will read them back to you. Children may wish to draw a picture of something they are grateful for. Those at home, type your response into the chat. For now, please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 1000.
Please join in our affirmation. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. I invite you to take a moment now to complete those sentences, and we'll invite you forward for our ritual of joys and concerns when we prompt you. So take a minute now. Peng Cheng will play for a couple minutes as you do that. In our service, where we invite you to come forward and place an individual stone into a communal bowl of sand. The stones reflect our unique gifts, and when we put them together in the sand, we create a mosaic that reflects this caring community. If you have a joy or concern you would like to share publicly, please bring it forward. Please type it in the chat if you're watching from home. And bring your little slip of paper. And if you don't want to come forward, raise your hand and we'll pick up your pieces of paper. Thank you. Didn't mean. the lamp and reflect the light that we carry with us when we leave this place today, and the spark of truth that lives among us. We're going to ask Peng Cheng to play just a little bit more while we make a poem out of what you wrote. Trust me. Thank you. So here's what you said. This year has been hard because I don't have the energy I used to for work. This year has been hard because there has been anger and estrangement within my family of origin. This year has been hard to figure out what has changed, been lost, or gained, how to deal with everyone else's fears and uncertainty. This year has been hard because of conflict with my adult son. This year has been hard because I feel disconnected from others. Because of the pandemic. This year has been hard because life is messy and confusing, because of life challenges. This year has been hard because of fears for our country's political divisions. This year has been hard because of family refusing medical treatment. This year has been hard because someone I love is sick, is still well and happy, but I no longer see them regularly. This year is hard because Russia invaded Ukraine. This year has been hard because we can't travel, because we've been unable to spend time with our grandchildren. This year's been hard because my brother is ill. This year's been hard because my partnership of 7 years, within which I planned to become a parent, ended. So I'm doing the work of finding me. This year's been hard because restarting a church after a pandemic is difficult. Let's see what's from home. This year's been hard because I am applying to graduate school and I am stressed about my future. Still, I'm grateful for my family has survived for some laugh times and is on the other side. I am grateful for support and family. Still, I'm grateful for family and friends and people who work for justice. Still, I'm grateful for family and friends in St. John's. Still, I'm grateful for family, friends, love, and hope. Still, I'm grateful for being able to foster and visit kittens and cats. Still, I'm grateful for my girlfriend, for the love of family, friends, and our community, my husband who always has my back. Still, I'm grateful for my wife having a healthy, issue-free pregnancy. Her and our unborn child are healthy and well. Still, I'm grateful for my support system during the hardest year due to a loss in the family. I'm grateful for friends and family and my good health. I'm grateful for wonderful friends in good health, my friends at St. John's. I'm grateful for my marriage, my children, my parents, my family, and my friends. I'm grateful for my friends at St. John's and Tristate Dharma. I'm grateful being here with friends. Still, I'm grateful for trees and flowers and art and family. I'm grateful for community, music, friends, and St. John's, and starting a new job. Still, I am grateful for another with Rich. Still, I'm grateful for friends and family. Still, I'm grateful for good health, balanced mind, and cold beer. Still, I'm grateful for stable health, for all the people in my life. Still, I'm grateful for so much love in my life. And from the chat, still, I'm grateful for church community that lifts me up when I'm down. I'm grateful for the opportunity to pursue education as well as my loved ones that provide support. I'm grateful for my beautiful cats, Lottie and Macy. Grateful for the folks who are supporting one another in earth spirit. Thank you. With that, Ashley, our Director of Programs for Children and Youth, will take our chalice flame downstairs for their program. As we sing hymn number 414.
As we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. As we live this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return.
Please join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Living Spirit that moves among us and within us. This is the first Sunday of Advent in the Christian calendar. It's a season of anticipation and hope. May we keep the idea of anticipation and hope within our hearts, especially as we face yet again another mass shooting in Chesapeake, Virginia, and over 600 this year. May we come to our senses. We're grateful for a community to offer support and love to one another during these difficult times. May we work together in love and gratitude. Amen. This is the time in the service where we collect our offering. Your offerings are graciously received and given with generosity for the support of this community and our work in the world. Matters, there we are. It matters that we have a holiday focused on gratitude. And you all have expressed it so beautifully today. Life is difficult, yet finding the space to express our gratitude can help us get through difficult times. Thursday was Thanksgiving, a rather conflicted holiday in our country these days. People arguing over politics, stuffing themselves to the gills, football and parades, and of course, shopping frenzy on Friday. Sometimes it's all too much, and we can forget the thanks part of Thanksgiving. It can be hard to remember to give thanks when we know that the story behind the holiday is a myth built on the tiniest grain of truth. But mostly it's a story that makes us feel good about our founding, our mistakes, our original sins. Some truth-telling has begun, and I'm grateful to know more about the truth of the day in the hopes that we might make amends someday. But a practice of gratitude is actually one way to respond to injustice. Dr. Sharon Welch wrote eloquently about this in her article, The Ground of Challenging Injustice is Gratitude. She writes, "The wellspring of decency is loving this life in which people die, people suffer, there are limits and we make mistakes. The wellspring, then, of moral action is not utopia, not a counterfactual vision, not a declaration that the world could and should be otherwise. Rather, it is a deep affirmation of the joy, richness, and blessing that the world is. The ground of challenging exploitation and injustice and oppression is not a vision of how the world could be or will be in a future reign of God or after some revolution. The ground of challenging injustice is gratitude, the heartfelt desire to honor the wonder of that which is, to cherish, to celebrate, to delight in the many gifts and joy of life. You see, what we are grateful for can be what we want for others. I love this idea of setting aside time for gratitude, a Thanksgiving Day. And it's just one reminder to us to recognize the gifts that surround us, the cycle of life, the seasons of the year, and even our ability to make do when things are tough. The amazing gift of life, this idea that we are here to appreciate life and each other, I am most grateful for. In religions from the indigenous to Buddhism to the Abrahamic faiths, a practice of gratitude is important to our spiritual lives. It helps calm the spirit as we turn toward the gifts that life has brought us. Sometimes when things are rough, it's hard to find anything to be grateful for. But most often, something is there that we can point to and say, yes, this is something I can be grateful for. Robin Wall Kimmerer, from her book Braiding Sweetgrass, writes about the honorable harvest. Kimmerer is a scientist and a professor, as well as a citizen member of the Potawatomi Nation. She writes about the traditional approach to gratitude, a river of words as old as the people themselves. It's a very long Thanksgiving address, so you're not getting it all. But I'll give you a little bit of it. Kimmerer in the book is leading this prayer to a group of third grade children who are learning to say it in their indigenous language. It starts like this. Today we have gathered, and when we look upon the faces around us, we see the cycle of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now let us bring our minds together as one as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. I invite you now to look around at each other, look at each other's faces with gratitude and love. Now our minds are one. We are thankful to our Mother Earth, for she gives us everything that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she still continues to care for us, just as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send thanksgiving, love, and respect. I invite you now to plant your feet on the floor, stretch them down into the earth beneath the concrete. Now our minds are one. The prayer continues for the water, for the fish, for the plants and the berries and all the food. Attention is turned to the medicinal herbs, the trees and the animals. On it goes to the birds, the winds and the weather, and to the sun, the moon, the tides, and stars. Then we turn our attention to our teachers and our ancestors, and most of all, to the Creator, or the Great Spirit. Everything we need to live a good life is here on Mother Earth, she says. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. You see, this is a gratitude meditation of extraordinary proportion, and it is practiced every day. Kimmerer ends the chapter by saying, every day with these words, the people give thanks to the land. In the silence that falls at the end of these words, I listen, longing for the day when we can hear the land give thanks for the people in return. Jack Kornfield, Buddhist and psychologist, puts forward a vision of human dignity and possibility built on gratitude found in love, joy, and community. Buddhist practices can bring thanksgiving forward, as Kornfield says in an interview about why gratitude is an essential component of spiritual life. He said, if we see the world as sacred, which is an expression of the spiritual life, then gratitude follows immediately and naturally. We've been given the extraordinary privilege of living life or incarnation as human beings. And of course, the human incarnation entails 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows, as it says in the Tao Te Ching. But with it, we have the privilege of lavender color at sunset, the taste of a tangerine in our mouth, and the almost unbearable beauty of life around us, along with its troubles. It keeps recreating itself. We can either be lost in a smaller state of consciousness, what in Buddhist psychology is called the body of fear, which brings suffering to us and others, or we can bring the quality of love and appreciation, which I would call gratitude, to life. With gratitude comes a kind of trust. The poet Pablo Neruda writes, you can pick all the flowers, but you can't stop the spring. Life keeps recreating itself and presenting us with miracles every day. Life keeps recreating itself, indeed. Many you have a process theology. I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's a complicated term, right? But I find it a very accessible way for me to think about God. It's a wonderful translator for me as a humanist, kind of like those universalists of old who said, God is love. God equals love. It's kind of like saying God, there's a God without making God this bearded man on the throne in the sky, right? And love is all about relationships, and that's where process theology comes in. Love is about relationships and the process of creation among us. That creation emerges from among us as we work together to find new directions in life. It's called the creative emergence, and that comes from our being together. And how many of you put in your gratitude? Friends, family, community. Yeah. When we create, what we create can go beyond our understanding. When we come together, we have no idea what can happen. We become part of the creative impulse. We continue to want to live, to bring children into the world, to live a life of meaning in community. My partner, Bob Lewis, once said, we stand between the no longer and the not yet. That's where we are. We act on behalf of all who have gone before, all who live now, and all who will come after us. You see, it is an emergent, creative process, and I'm grateful for it. And so we must respond to the everyday irritations in life, the injustice, the conflicts, the struggle. And it may well be that if we develop a daily gratitude practice, might not have to take an hour, but the pain and fear these conflicts cause could begin to ease and maybe even cease. M.J. Ryan wrote a book called A Grateful Heart, A Daily Blessing for the Evening Meal from Buddha to the Beatles. And they write a story of recognizing blessings. It's kind of in the introduction. They write, a couple of days before I was to write the introduction to this book, I was making dinner. Unexpectedly, the water main up the street broke, and all water was cut off for several hours. Anyone who has tried to cook with no water knows how frustrating that experience can be. As I struggled alone, I suddenly realized the lesson I was being given. Here I was for the past 6 months reading every known book, or at least it felt that way, on gratitude and thanks that I could find. And I had completely taken for granted in any way to give thanks for the miracle of water coming out of my tap anytime I wanted it. If I could overlook that, what other blessings in my life had I not perceived? Gratefulness is the full response of the human heart to the graciousness of all that is. When we give thanks, we take our place in the great wheel of life, recognizing our connection to one another and to all of creation. Offering a blessing plugs us into the aliveness of the whole world. May we be grateful for the clean water coming out of our taps. May we be grateful for the life we live. May we be grateful for the community we have. May we be grateful for the opportunity to serve. None of us is perfect, but all of it is sacred. As the hymn says, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. Living a life that includes a practice of gratitude can bring greater mindfulness and peace. When we turn toward thanksgiving and gratitude, we bring forward grace and goodwill. Gratitude can help us be accountable to those around us who ask for help. Gratitude can help us be respectful of what we have so we don't take more than we need. In this hurting world, may we lean toward gratitude and away from criticism. May we recognize that the complex world we live in is not ours for the taking, it is ours for the making. May we learn to live together on this planet and with this planet, which is probably the most human and spiritual thing we can do on Thanksgiving and throughout the year. After all, isn't that the biggest challenge we have as human beings, learning to live with each other in peace? How do we live together in peace? Let us rise to the challenge with gratitude for what we have and what will yet be. Amen. Blessed be. Our closing hymn is wrong in the order of service. Please rise in body, voice, or spirit for hymn 128, For All That Is Our Life.
Is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Announcements. I received a concern that I forgot to do at concern time, so I'm going to turn it into an announcement with apologies. You know, a long-term member, Mira Rodwin, has been a little bit in cognitive decline, and Edie writes that she is now moved to a memory unit. It's, I don't know if you listed here, but anyways, she asks that she be given time to settle in and make friends with staff before receiving lots of visitors, but she's still a social butterfly, and Mira's butterfly has social butterfly, and Mira's daughter Clea and Edie have confidence that she's going to handle the transition well. So, yeah, thank you, Edie, and my apologies for missing that. We have no announcements. Wow. Let's stay for coffee, though, right? And commune with one another. I think there's a lot of goodies out there. Please rise for our closing hymn, 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. We have now arrived at the place where we end our words. Of all the things we have named, it is not our intention to leave anything out. If something was forgotten, we leave it to each individual to send such greeting and thanks in their own way. Now our minds are one, says Robin Wall Kimmerer. Go in peace. Stay for coffee.